Chad Babcock. Tan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, EO Idaho members. We're going to start off with an interactive. I'm going to have all of you participate with me. So, can everyone sit up?
Sit up or stand?
Nope, just sit up.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Put your chin to your chest. And when the music's done, you can lift your head up. It was a late summer night, about 100 degrees. The sweat dripped down my face. I was shaking. I was standing on a ledge. I was looking 50 feet down. That's 5 stories. Picture looking down 50 feet. No harnesses, no ropes, no nets. I lifted my head up. I looked ahead. I pushed off and skied down the ramp. I jumped and did my first double back ever. It was a fearful moment, but I landed. I stuck it. The fireworks went off and the crowd went wild. I just performed my first double backflip in front of 70,000 people at the Stadium of Fire. Today I'm going to talk to you about my entrepreneurial journey and my story. It's about fear-driven success. I put a little definition here. Fear-driven success is achieving wealth, position, and honors attained from a strong emotion, fear, rather than not taking action and missing out on opportunities. My journey started when I graduated from high school. I had several opportunities and received a scholarship to go to Western Michigan University. My scholarship was in gymnastics. While at Western, I obtained my Bachelor's of Science in Education, and that's my Volkswagen Bug that I drove from Boise, Idaho to Kalamazoo, Michigan. While I was there, I competed in gymnastics. I became Western Michigan's first All-American gymnast and eventually was inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. After graduation, I moved back to Boise, Idaho. I moved in with my mom and dad, started coaching gymnastics and substitute teaching. I only did this for about 4 months because I started to get a little antsy and I'm like, this can't be it. So I loaded my Bug back up, drove to Park City, Utah, and ended up getting a 4th grade teaching position. I also taught PE and coached gymnastics there as well. My original reason for moving to Park City, Utah was to make the U.S. National Inverted Aerial Ski Team. Inverted aerials is skiing down a hill at 30 miles an hour, launching yourself off a 20-foot jump, doing multiple flips and twists, and hopefully land on your feet, which didn't always happen. After doing this for about 2 years, I loved teaching, I loved the coaching, but I did not like the pay of only $19,000 a year. $19,000 a year living in Park City, Utah, barely paid the rent. So that was a fearful moment because I had my teaching degree. I knew teachers only made $20,000. I was like, what am I going to do? Well, I looked fear in the face and used it as an opportunity to find something new in my life. Well, the opportunity I found was, as if you read my shirt, I became a glorified carny. Not the type of carny that sells popcorn and cotton candy or gives you ping pong balls to win goldfish, but the kind of carny that wows you, gets you excited, does crazy things, and makes you feel good. So for 2 years, I traveled around the world. I went to countries like Thailand, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Costa Rica. I traveled all around the United States to street fairs, county fairs, state fairs, back alleys, anything to pay off my debt. The main reason I became a glorified carny is to pay off the debt I had acquired while chasing my skiing dreams. On my world tour of carnyism, one of the main things the main reason was to pay off my debt. And this is where I learned about my first entrepreneurial business, and that was called the Magic Tumble Bus. So the Magic Tumble Bus is a full-size school bus. You take all the seats out of it, you carpeted the floors, you carpeted the walls, put air conditioners on top, a generator to run those air conditioners, and you teach gymnastics inside. So with my education degree, my gymnastics background, and my love of working with kids, I brought this to Boise, Idaho. Well, before I started this, when I was on my last show in Sheridan, Wyoming, we packed up the ramp and got in the truck and started driving away, and I looked at one of my carny friends and said, what can I do besides jump off a ramp and make people smile? He said, start a gym, do the Tumble Bus. And that's where the Tumble Bus came about. So I moved back to Boise, moved back into my parents' house again. At 27 years old, guess what they thought? They're like, you're 27, Chad. So with all my excitement, I shared with them about my idea of the Tumble Bus. And what surprised me was the skepticism that came with that. I heard comments like, you want to do what on a bus? Where are you going to get the money for that? Is that a real idea? Do you even know how to drive a bus? Well, I kept on with my goal, and my next step was to try to find some money. So I went to the bank, and the bank's like, that's awesome, that's one of the best ideas I've ever heard. But I can't give you any money. I'm like, why can't you give me money? It's a great idea. Well, because I didn't have 2 years of financial statements. They said, as soon as you get those 2 years of financial statements, we'll give you all the money you want. I'm like, so I was getting frustrated. I started to doubt myself. And a week after this, I was really starting to doubt it. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is a bad idea. Well, I got a phone call from my grandfather. He said that my mother had called him and told him about my idea. And he said, I want to give you a $20,000 loan. I'm like, awesome. So he sent me a check. That week I went out, bought a bus, and built my first Tumble Bus right there. What I learned from this experience is doubt feeds fear. Don't doubt, double down and believe. And that's what I did. So if you have a dream or a goal, believe in yourself, do your homework, and you can achieve it. The next subject, excuse me. The next subject is a tough one. It's about death. In 2007, I was upstairs in my house with my family reading books to my kids. There was a knock on the door, and my dog began to bark. I walked downstairs, looked out the window, and saw a gentleman with a badge on his shirt. I'm like, oh, there's a sheriff outside. The first thing I thought is, what did I do wrong? Or what did my friends do wrong, and I'm involved in it? I opened the door, and he said, are you Mr. Chad Babcock, the son of Clyde Babcock? And I said, yes. He goes, unfortunately, there's been a serious accident, and she was pronounced dead. Sorry. At that moment, my life changed forever. The reason I share this story is 20 years ago when I started the Magic Tumble Bus, one of my main goals was to have time for my friends and family. And at this time of my mom's death, I wasn't doing that. I was working 75 to 80-hour weeks, and I needed to revisit that goal. Life is short. Let your fear drive you into the next chapter and not keep you from it. So I really thought about my 70 to 80-hour weeks, and I went to my other entrepreneur friends and said, hey, I need some help. What can I do here? And the number one thing that I took away from their experiences was they said, hire someone to do it. I'm like, do what? They said, hire someone to do the things you don't like to do. So I thought about it, and at that time, the one thing I didn't like to do, and I still don't like to do, is payroll, bookkeeping, and organization. Well, when I thought about hiring a bookkeeper, I'm like, they're going to make mistakes. They don't know my business. Will they steal from me? Will they make mistakes? Well, I stepped over my fear and hired a bookkeeper, and that was the best thing I've ever done. Since then, I've hired 60 more employees who are more creative, smarter than me, and more organized. And the organized one is important. Since that time of hiring the bookkeeper, I've had more time for my friends and family, and I've had more time to do the things in my life I've wanted. And one of those things is starting new businesses. This is TumbleTime Gymnastics. We built that in 2005. It's on Cloverdale. It houses preschool, before school, after school, gymnastics, and camps. In 2010, we started JumpTime Idaho in Meridian. In 2012, we started JumpTime Twin Falls. 2013, we started 2012 JumpTime Boise, 2013 JumpTime Twin Falls, 2014 we opened Soccer Time Twin Falls, and currently we're in the process of building a brand new 35,000 square foot family fun center in Meridian, Idaho. Well, part of my success, or most of my success, and being able to step over fear is easily conquered with an amazing partner on my side, and that's my wife, Katie, over there. Oh. One of the things we do early on in life, as our kids were young, we talked about being able to travel and spend time with our kids. Fortunately, having all the help stepping over this fear and building success has created the life we want. So for the last 3 years, starting in November, we moved to Sun Valley, Idaho. We live there from November through March. We ski every day. Our kids are on the Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation. And part of having an amazing family is building amazing memories. And as Eric was saying, helping the kids become better people. And one of those things is we really teach them that you're going to have fear and challenges in your life, and we help them learn to step over them. Here's my daughter, Tilly Rose, doing a huge spread eagle at one of the ski competitions, and she is currently ranked as one of the highest rated skiers of her age group at Sun Valley. My son, this is a video I'm going to play. We're up on a mountainside skiing one afternoon, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, look down there." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "See that kicker?" And the kicker's a jump. He goes, "I'm going to hit that thing." I'm like, "Well, hold on. Let me go down there and check out the landing." So I ski down, and I'm standing, and I'm looking, and I'm giving the OK symbol. I'm like, "All right, you got this." And I've coached all my life, and most things don't scare me, but when your kids start to do stuff, I get all puckered up. So watch the video, and here's how it worked. So I'm standing on this jump, and you'll hear my wife in the background. He's way up there. See him flying down. I'm like, oh man, he is going fast. He does the biggest backflip. He lands on his feet, skis away, and just goes, "That was huge." And I'm like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yes." So anyways, my point is, if you have kids, start teaching them now that you're going to have fear and challenges in your life, but fear doesn't always need to stop you. A couple last things. One is, it took me 2 years to join EO Idaho. I was kind of actually scared and intimidated to join them because they were these smart, amazing business people, and I didn't know if I had anything to offer. I finally joined, and this is my form, which is one of the most important parts of EO. Thank you, Acropolis, if you're out there, and thank you, EO Idaho, you're awesome. Last but not least, before I leave today, the one thing I would like you to take away is, remember, fear can be a driver to success. Look at fear as the glass half full and not half empty. And this is a saying that at Tumble Time we say every day at the end of class, and it goes something like this: if I never try, I'll never know how great I can be or how far I can go. And before the kids leave, I always make them repeat it after me. So I would like you to help me and repeat with me. If I never try, I'll never know how great I can be or how far I can go. Thank you.